ladies and gentlemen, it's now time for us to move on to our another session. This is going to be on Uttar Pradesh's journey to a $1 trillion economy. In fact, Uttar Pradesh stands at the center of India's scale story. Its demographic weight, infrastructure expansion, and industrial policy focus positions it as a pivotal contributor to national growth. The ambition to build a $1 trillion state economy reflects a long-term structural strategy, and that involves logistics networks, manufacturing clusters, agricultural productivity reform, and fiscal management. In fact, translating this potential into durable economic power, that requires administrative coordination and capital discipline. In fact, for this very session, may I please welcome on stage Mr. Deepak Kumar. He's an IAS and who's going to be in conversation with Hina Gambhir, news editor at Times Now. Hina, may I please request you to come up on stage along with Mr. Deepak Kumar.
Thank you, Samita. Good afternoon once again, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Deepak Kumar, pleasure to have you with us today. We're going to be talking about the journey of Uttar Pradesh from potential to powerhouse, the journey to $1 trillion economy. So, Mr. Deepak Kumar, Uttar Pradesh, we know, has set a rather ambitious target of becoming a $1 trillion economy. What are the three, in a way, biggest structural shifts that are going to make this aspiration achievable?
Good afternoon, everyone. And it sure is a privilege to be here and slightly intimidating also. We are all aware that Honorable PM has set us a target of $5 trillion economy. And Honorable CM in line has also set us for UP a target of $1 trillion. UP so far about a decade back was contributing 8% to the national economy, which has now gone up to 9%. And obviously, Honorable CM says that we constitute 17% of the population, and we must punch higher. We must contribute commensurate to our population. And if you see the growth rate, and especially the post-COVID growth rate, the nation has been growing at roughly 14%, and UP has achieved about 16% of growth rate. So, while the national growth rate is itself very awesome, the acceleration of UP is very noticeable. So the intent is there and the content is also there. You asked about the three sectors.
Yes.
The structural changes that have enabled this or that we are projecting. So the first one, according to me, is the instilling of rule of law. Our CM is a strict disciplinarian, and he wants the rule of law implemented. And the first beneficiary has been the law and order. And I mean law and order not in a very restricted sense, but in a very institutionalized sense, in the sense that the police has better training, the response time is less, the equipment, the vehicles, they are upgraded, the institutions are firmly in place, the prosecution is better, there is no zero tolerance to crime. So this is the base. Now beyond that, we have a world-class infrastructure. Many must not be aware that UP has 55% of the expressways of India. Naturally, the largest road network, the train network is there. We have 16 airports. 4 of them are international. The fifth one to join as an international airport to be commissioned will be Jewar,
Okay.
which will be the largest in Asia. And obviously a whole ecosystem will come with that. Also that dedicated freight corridor, UP owns about 33% of that. 33% of it will be passing through UP. So we have very good connectivity. The National Water Highway number 1, that is in UP. We have 6 metros. The 7th, Meerut Metro, will soon be operational. So connectivity-wise, we are number 1. Land availability-wise, we are very good. We are working on about 75,000 acres of developed industrial land.
Okay.
So infrastructure and land is there. We have the best of the policies. We have 34 sectoral policies. You name the sector, we have a policy for that. And we also learn from the other states. If they are giving any incentive or concession, we adopt that. And ease of doing business is there.
Okay.
We are a front-runner state. And the third aspect, if I was to choose, was we provide a big consumer base. Every 6th Indian is in UP. So we obviously have a large consumer base. And if you look at that, the fact that the per capita income has gone up, has doubled from about 56,000 to 1,25,000 in the last 9 years.
Right.
So that also provides you the buying capacity.
So essentially you said law and order, that has improved. Second, policy support. And third, of course, is the consumer base that the state of Uttar Pradesh really provides.
Yeah.
Infrastructure, like you mentioned, has been central to UP's transformation narrative that we are talking about. Expressways, you mentioned about them, airports, logistics parks. Can you also tell us a little bit about how the infrastructure that we are witnessing, infrastructure growth, that's translating into actual industrial investment and eventually job creation?
We see what is visible to most of the observers is the development that is taking place in NCR. And the most prominent one is obviously the electronics industry. Again, many people may not be aware that 55% mobiles are made in UP. About 60-65% electronic component is manufactured in UP. And this is what meets the eye. But you see across all the sectors, whether it is primary, secondary, UP has made sizable progress. And we see this happening. We have defense nodes. The 2 defense nodes that are in India, one is in UP. So from small ammunition to large ammunition, small guns to large guns to BrahMos, they are manufactured in defense corridors. We have integrated manufacturing and logistic hubs, 27 of them. So all along the expressways, we have developed industrial nodes. So that has opened up our state. The opportunities are everywhere and in all the sectors, be it the food and agro processing industries or defense, aerospace, or the new renewable energy or the new and emerging technologies, semiconductors. Next week, one semiconductor facility will be operationalized in UP.
Okay.
So all these sectors have come up well.
Okay.
So you cannot say that only one sector or some sectors are prominent. Some sectors may gather more limelight, but all sectors are progressing, including the traditional sectors like textile, leather, leather shoes, leather goods, non-leather goods. So there is commendable progress in all the sectors.
Okay, so you've given us a sense of the kind of sectors that you are focusing on right now that can help UP achieve the aspiration that it has. Now, investors today also look beyond incentives and policy support. They also look at execution, speed. How has UP improved ease of doing business in terms of clearances, land availability, and then most importantly, dispute resolution?
Our Honorable CM is very particular. He says speed is the new incentive. So, in this environment when most of the states are coming up with excellent concessions and subsidies, obviously, if the investor has to choose, speed is one of the things. As I said, ease of doing business in UP is in focus. From 12th position, we have come to the front-runner state. If you see logistics or good governance, any index that you take, export preparedness, we are at the top. There is a special provision that when an investor comes to UP, there is a Udyam Mitra. He is a kind of relationship manager, and he is especially trained, experienced people. They handhold. So from the time an investor expresses his intention to invest in UP, there is a handholding, and it is at officers level also. And Honorable CM himself monitors all this. There is a CM portal, and there is a easy access. All the investors who have worked in UP or who have any intention, who have met the CM, realize this, that they have direct access to the Honorable CM. So I think that is well taken care of. Ease of doing business is there. And as I said right in the beginning, rule of law also means contract enforcement. And we have eased that. We have eased the business guidelines, the building bylaws. Recently, UP was judged the best in deregulation, decriminalization. There are about 577 provisions that were decriminalized. So all this shows that we really care and we have taken measures to improve things.
Okay. Talking about agriculture sector now, that still employs a large part of UP's population. How do you see the transition from agriculture-led livelihoods to value-added agro-processing and rural industrialization?
About 65% of our population is still dependent on agriculture, and it contributes about 26% to our economy. And that is the main concern, because everyone cannot be involved in industrialization. Everyone cannot shift to manufacturing, and yet agriculture has to be given the primary role. So what UP has done is taken a lot of steps. One is diversification. UP as it is the leading producer of wheat, rice, potato, sugarcane. So that is there, but what we are promoting is diversification, moving into other sectors, dairy, pisciculture. Also, there is a World Bank project going on. About 4,000 crores have been invested in that. That will provide a platform for farmers for easy access to credit, to market, and the problems that they are facing. So they will have a platform. The startups, the techs, the agro-tech companies, they will get a platform to directly engage with the farmers. Also, all the connectivity that I talked about, that is making things easier for the primary producer. So they have ready access to the nearest town, or they have access to the airports. Now, Varanasi and Jewar, they will be developed as mega food parks. So the producers of the farmers, they will they can directly be exported.
Okay.
Also, we have a lot of agro processing units coming in. There are incentives for that also, right, from 35% going up to 70%. So a lot of industries are coming and the farmers are getting better prices for their produce. The produce that was earlier going west, like parali, that is being processed now and farmers are getting a price for that.
Okay. Last question. What's the vision for UP 2030?
For 2030. See, we already are top 3 state economies. So by 2030, we will definitely be in top 2. In manufacturing, we are in top 5. We will be in top 3. In exports, we are top 5. We will be in top 3. And I said, right now we contribute 9% to the national economy. We'll be nearer to our $1 trillion goal. Also, we will like our youth to be better skilled. They will be job providers, not job seekers. We envision more participation in labor force by women, more empowered women. We have many schemes going on. We have Lakhpati Didi, wherein women are empowered. A special credit is given to them. A special training is given to them. And with all these industries coming up, UP will obviously be there at the top.
Well, absolutely. Good luck with that. And thank you very much, Mr. Deepak Kumar, for joining us today. Wonderful speaking with you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.